Hello friends, this is Tina here from Under 3 Acres, and today I'm going to make cornbread without using any corn. First things first, you're going to want to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So next we're going to grease the frying pan. Now you can use bacon grease, lard, avocado oil, olive oil, butter. If you're not doing it dairy-free, that's totally up to you. The idea is just to get it all nice and greased up here. For this recipe, you want the pan to be warm, so I'm just heating it here on a burner over a really low flame. This recipe is really super simple to make, and it is gluten-free, it's paleo, it's dairy-free. It's all of those things that I can't have. I can't have corn, can't have dairy, can't have gluten. So this is something when I want a nice bowl of chili and I like something to go with it. This is what we make. It's super simple. I say that in a lot of my videos because I like simple. I have a lot of kids. It's gotta go quick. When people are hungry, no time to waste. So I'm just gonna wash my hands. So first we're going to add the liquid ingredients. So I've got my eggs already cracked in here. So I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of maple syrup and 1/4 cup of avocado oil. So, and then we're just gonna mix these together. You want to beat the liquid ingredients until they're nice and light and frothy. Next, we're going to add 1½ cups of almond flour, 1/2 cup of tapioca starch, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, I always make my own. Make sure if you're making this for someone who is celiac or has gluten intolerance that you use a gluten-free baking powder. And I'm also using 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm just going to mix this up one more time. Once your batter is thoroughly mixed, we're just going to pour this into the frying pan. And then we'll just flatten it out a little bit. Now I'm just going to place my hot frying pan into the oven. We're going to set a timer for 25 minutes and we're going to check it then. If it needs a little bit longer, we'll put it in a little longer. But we're going to start at 25 minutes. You're going to want to stick around and see how it turns out at the end. Just a little backstory while we're waiting for the cornbread to finish baking. 10 years ago, or actually 11 years ago already, I had a little baby who couldn't have any corn. When he was born, he got really sick. He was 9 pounds 13 ounces and he lost weight and he kept losing weight, and I was doing everything I could. I was in contact with the doctor, the midwives, a lactation consultant, and I was doing everything I could to get him to fatten up a little bit. Well, he never did. He failed to thrive. He lost about, I think it was 17% at the lowest point of his birth weight. And they say you should only let your babies lose about 10% and then they should start gaining. Well, he didn't gain, and it took a while to figure out what was going on because I was already gluten-free and I had a really clean gluten-free diet. The problem is my little guy, unbeknownst to me and to the doctors or anything else, had sensitivity or an allergy to corn. I don't know if it was an allergy. He didn't have hives or anything like that, but I was supplementing with formula, and every time I gave him formula, he threw up. Every time he breastfed, he threw up. I was using an SNS, and it just wasn't getting any better. So a friend of mine, she told me maybe it was corn. So if you have like a child who's, you're already off gluten and all these things, and he's not thriving the way, or she's not thriving the way you think they should be, it could be corn and it could be other grains. I know on animal food bags it'll say corn gluten meal, but on people's food it just calls it corn and it's not gluten, which It's a similar protein, and some people who can't do gluten can also not do corn and dairy and several other things. What happened was is I went off corn, I went off of like cold turkey, and I was also taking a medication to increase the amount of breast milk I had, and it was compounded with corn in it. And so I was taking the maximum dose. I was giving my child a formula with the breast milk, and he just kept projectile vomiting. So once we went off all of these things, I went off of the domperidone that I was on to increase my breast milk. I was supplementing with formula. I got rid of that because there's corn in most formulas. It's really hard to find a corn-free one. And it's not just, it doesn't just say corn on the ingredients. It's dextrose, it's corn syrup, it's maltodextrin, it's glucose fructose. These are all versions of hidden corn. And so once I eliminated all of those things out of my diet, my little guy started to gain weight, and he was gaining like 50 grams to 100 grams per day. And within, I think it was a week, he went from, you know, the lowest point he was to being past his birth weight, and just started gaining and gaining and gaining from there. So if you have any issues with gluten, you're not feeling better, it could be corn or other grains. Like we went off all the grains. I went off rice, oats, corn, and sorghum, millet, you name it. I went off everything, cold turkey. It wasn't easy, but he started to thrive, and I actually found that I was able to lose weight, which I hadn't before. I gained a lot of weight in his pregnancy that just started to shed. Another bonus from going off corn was that the joint pain, like I played a lot of sports as a kid, and I always thought, okay, these, you know, aches and pains were from playing sports. But when I went off all these grains, all the pain went away. I thought I was maybe getting arthritis or something. I didn't know what was going on, but all of these things started clearing up. It's not easy being gluten-free in the first place, and then finding out you can't have any of these other things. So we did go paleo for a while, and now we're kind of loosey-goosey with the paleo, but we're all gluten-free. So all of my recipes are definitely gluten-free. A lot of them are dairy-free. A lot of them are nightshade-free and grain-free. There it is, all done. This is one of my favorite comfort foods. I'm gonna set it down because it's really heavy. Around here, I cook lots of easy, from scratch, simple ingredients. It's gotta be no fuss, no muss, feed lots of people. So if you like that kind of thing, then stick around, check out some of my other videos. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.